Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're with us this morning. This is a show that we've been looking forward to the last couple of days because Jeff and I have worked really hard, and we're coming to you from Studio B of Panhandle Outdoors. I don't know how long you've been with us, but if you've noticed looking around this backdrop back here, you're looking at this is our original backdrop. Actually, it goes back to the days when Scott Lindsay started the show. He built this. It's been handed down. Well, when we built a new set at Fox 28, then we were going to throw this away, but I saved it just for a rainy day. And guess what? We have our rainy day. So here we are, and what we're going to do, our game plan, we're going to come to you from Studio B a couple of days, have some videos a couple of days, and just intersperse it, and we're going to all get through this the best we can. So we're just tickled to still be on the air, and a lot of people working hard, and so we're going to get started with our weather. This week now is going to be a little bit of rain, but it's not going to be too bad. I was looking at a weekly report. I don't have the water temperature, but air temperature high of about 81, low of 63. The river readings, I'm sorry, I don't have those this morning. It's all going to be coming. Just be patient all. I do have the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn, and we are in neap tides all week long. Not a lot of tidal flow. We're looking at a situation where it's just not going to be much going on, but come Saturday's going to be a good incoming tide. Saturday morning and outgoing Saturday afternoon. It'll be a good day to be on the water. I've had some great reports from Spanish mackerel. I'm getting some good reports on pompano. We'll talk about it later in the show. So things are looking real good. Our marine forecast will be coming out of southeast at about 4 to 8. So let's go and take our first break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's talk a minute about the situation we're in. We're all in the same boat. It's been. I've watched it closely. I know all of y'all are very attuned to what's going on, and it's just different right now in our country. And I've got a kick out of the words all the broadcasters use, and they use the word unprecedented and uncharted waters. Uncharted. They use that more than I use fascination on Panhandle Outdoors, but it's true, and it's nothing to be to joke about or anything like that. But we're just gonna we need to do what our government and what our authorities talk about, what's best for our country. And if you look back on the history of the country, if you followed much history and look at the sacrifices. And I can remember the stories from World War II. Of course, I wasn't in the war, and my dad was, and I just remember reading about it. I became a World War II historian, not just on the battlefront, but what was going on in America. And it was true. They did. Everybody just focused on what was best for the United States of America. And that's what we're going to all have to do now. So if we have to do some sacrifices, if Jeff and I have to come down to Studio B, we're going to do it. And we're going to do the best we can. And one of the things when the governor, one of his talks he gave last week, and I really like Governor DeSantis, the way he handles everything. I've been real excited about him and just his philosophy. But one of the things he said, get outside to get some fresh air. I said, now we're talking, and you got to keep your distance and all, but we're talking about, get outside and get some fresh air. That's something we preached all along. So with that in mind, I'm going to show you some pictures, and we're going to our technology on Studio B is not the same technology we have in the main office, so we're going to do the best we can. And first thing I want to show you, our good folks down there, good friends down on the East End, Forrest Massey. She and her husband have a couple of good boats for sale. This is a Pursuit, 1999 Pursuit. They're asking $28,000 for it. It's loaded. It's got two Yamaha Saltwater 225, and here's some pictures of it here. Forrest, they're good outdoors people. Here's a picture of it. We fish just with a boat this size. We fish that Carabel tournament every year in that boat just like this, and you can see you can move it in and out. Also, beautiful boat, and that's a heck of a price. Now here's a 1989 Mako they have. They got two boats, and they're not going offshore like they used to. So folks, this is, look, it has a 30-foot Armstrong bracket, low ramps bottom and side scan and all that, and a great boat asking $8,000 for it on the trailer. That's called the Bodacious, 1989. Here's a picture of it. Look, those Makos, those Makos like that are well made. All right, let's go to some pictures now. This is coming out of Pensacola Beach Pier. I was excited to see this. This is congratulations, Zach Taylor. I don't know Zach, but I do know what he has. He has that first Cobia of the year coming out of Pensacola. They always seem to catch him first over there, so that's a good, that's a nice Cobia right there. Billy Grantham sitting this. Put this on TV. It's coming out of one of the lakes up there in Jackson County. This is Gage Carnley. He caught him on motor oil and green plastic, fishing in a kayak. Now that is fun right there. Good job. Good job, Gage. All right, next picture, to go back to turkey hunting. This is from Stan Kirkland, Winston. I took 12-year-old Max Ellis Vaughn Jr. Saturday turkey hunting in Wakulla County. He killed a 20-pound gobbler with a 10-inch beard, and his birds measured an inch. On this young, it's the second bird ever, and here's a good picture of it right here. Thanks, Stan, for taking a young person out hunting like that, and what a big turkey. Okay, now here's another one. This is Matt Carpenter sent me a message right here up there in Liberty County, going catfishing with his family, and I want to show you the size of one of these catfish. Big as a kid. Look at that one right there. The kid laying down, the catfish laying next to him. That's some big catfish, and like I said, Matt's granddaddy used to be a big fisherman. All right, this homeschooling now has gotten funny. I've just laughed out loud at all this homeschooling people are talking about, in a good sense. People are mad because they have to watch their kids for 2 weeks. Some of y'all about to learn when the teacher wasn't lying. You have to have, as a teacher and a parent, you got to appreciate that. I've talked about the Spanish mackerel. Jim Lloyd and Brooke Lloyd. They're two little girls. Well, one of them not so little anymore, but they Spanish mackerel. They're some of the best ones around. They go every year. And listen, both daughters got 10 apiece. Now is that not a good? Look here. There's one picture right here with a baby, and guess where they are? Right out there. You can look and see where that's a path right behind them there, and they just trolling. Just like we talk about. And Jim and Brooke are both fine fisher people and taking the kids out. And look at there. Good job, the Lloyd family. Always hook a good one, but it always breaks me off. Y'all heard this story from some of your buddies who fish for the big fish and all. You see what's going on. Real quick, our last picture here. This comes on the Panama City fishing page. This is Michael Hatcher and Chuck Call. He's a longtime friend of the Panama City fishing. Folks, this is a personal best, 146-pound yellowfin tuna. He said it'll probably be 8 weeks before we can go back. And that's one of the biggest tuna I've seen caught by an individual in a long time. Okay, let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and take a break. That catches up on the picture. I got more pictures coming on next time we do the show, but let's go and take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You know, last week when we were down at C&G, got some good feedback on that. That was sort of really shooting from the hip, and we're going to be doing this now for the next couple of weeks in odd end places, and we're going to be on the road and off the road and on the water and off the water and all kind of things. But we're excited about it. I got to thinking about, you know, a lot of times when things change, you get out of routine and sort of people get a little edgy and uneasy on things, and of course, you always have stuff to lean back on. If you grew up strong and have a good faith and all, you never worry about this stuff. But you want to have some things. I want to give y'all some tips, just some tips that I think is very important today. Remember this, I've showed this before. It's just a wind up camera, okay? And then you just, okay, and it works good. Now, during Hurricane Michael, when we didn't have power, we had a wind up radio. We had a wind up, 2 or 3 of these wind up little flashlights. They really came in handy. I have one in my truck. I have one, 2 of them at the house, one in the garage and one in the house. So these are just invaluable. So I want to recommend, and I don't know who carries these now. I don't remember where I got these, but I know it's good. That's tip number 1. Number 2, just some on your fuel. I had some fuel treatment somewhere around here. I set it around. I was down to BJ's the other day and talking to them, and we're talking about the fuel treatment in your outboard motor. If it's been sitting there a while, do not hesitate to use fuel treatment. You can use all different kinds. They had one put out by the Tohatsu company for the treatment of the mixer and all, and it has for the 2-cycle and 4-cycle. So be sure, I just want to give you a tip because a lot of y'all just like me, just starting out for spring fishing, and make sure your motor is in good shape. And they're putting them out right and left up there, BJs. They amaze me at the work ethic they have up there. Number 3, just be careful. And a lot of y'all walkie dogs and all. I'm very familiar with raccoons, as you know, and well, I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but there's some raccoons around that I'm pretty sure have rabies. I can't give you the details on it. I don't want to be held responsible. I just want to tell you to be careful with your dog and everything, especially if you don't have them on leash. If it's running around and you see a raccoon sort of acting a little, a little dizzy or limping a little bit or swaying a little bit, these are the signs of rabies in raccoons. So just be aware of that. And number 4, this early fog we have in March and April, it's good and bad. It's good that it sort of keeps things sort of slow. You slow down your driving and things like that. It's bad when you get out on the water, especially open water. So make sure you're careful when you get out on open water because it's a situation where you cannot go fast. And it really, if y'all have been out there during thick fog, just even in the bay system on Lake Seminole, Lake Talquin, you just can't see anything out there. So be careful of doing that, okay? Now I want to, speaking of Lake Talquin, I've mentioned off and on about how good that lake is and all, especially the crappie fishing. And I don't get a chance to do a lot of crappie fishing anymore. Growing up, Dad and Granddad called it speckled perch. And my granddad had a landing down there, so we'd always go speckled perch fishing. I want to show you some pictures. I pulled these up. I want to show you some pictures. This is at a Lake Talquin Lodge, and there's several good fish camps there now. And I just want to show you some pictures from the last 2 weeks coming from this little fish camp. And I'm going to just put them in order. This is right here, Sumi Wilson's Big Crappie right here, okay? That's one picture, that's number 1. I'm just gonna go through them. Now this is from the Lake Talquin Lodge. I won't give you all these people's names. I just want you to look at the fish. People are coming down from all over the place. Now these right here are going with guides. If you don't know how to fish over there, just hire a guide and you see the results. Look at the quality. This is like March 2nd. That other one was on March 1st. That's March 2nd. All right, here's also, this is March 2nd, also the same day. These Mr. Gator and Mr. Charles from Pensacola. They came over and they were fishing with Tom Strauss. And look at that catch right there, folks. Is that amazing? Okay, next picture. This comes in, this is on March the 11th, a couple days later, and they're fishing. This is Jared and Mr. John, but look at some of these fish here. Look at the size of those, okay? We're going on in here to, this was March the 12th. Now look at that. What a pair. The weather now was ideal, and that's a pretty lake to fish on. All right, next picture is March the 16th. Are you getting a pattern here? When I tell you the fish are biting, the crappie are biting in Lake Talquin in late February and early March. These folks come down from Atlanta, Georgia, and they're fishing here. I mean, they come from all over the place. This is in our backyard, but they know what the fishing is right there, okay? And this is on March the 15th. How about a 2-pound, 5-ounce on one side, and the other one's 2-pound even on March the 16th. And a couple of more. These folks came over from Destin to fish at Lake Talquin, and you look at the size of those. That's just a joy to catch those and everything. So that's the crappie fishing on Lake Talquin. It's a situation where, it's a seasonal thing. It's like, the king mackerel and saltwater or whatever. It's a seasonal thing. They're always there, and you're going to fish with live bait. And really, if you haven't done much of it, just call over there and get a guide and just try it out for a day or two. But they have a place. You can stay in lodges over there, little campsites and all. You can camp, and it's a really great setup. And that lake itself just lends itself to some outstanding fishing. And this is sort of toward the lower end of the lake. And you have the Ocklawaha River coming into it, and the Little River and the Acklawaha and some creeks and all coming into that area right there. So check out Lake Talquin. We're so fortunate here. We always talk about this, fishing in the bays and all, but we're so fortunate with our lakes, our Lake Talquin, Lake Seminole, Holly Lake, and all these sandhill ponds, and then Dead Lakes and all that area there. and they all have fish, and it's an exciting time of the year. Now you can certainly do some social distancing once you go up in an area like that to do some fishing. One of the things too, you can catch some of these fish. They started to make man-made structures, and that's one of the population. People say, how do they keep, year after year? What they've done now, they have man-made structures where the fish, the fish get around them and all. They have a lot. Actually, now they have a better habitat for crappie than they did when it first was dammed up in 1951. It was natural, but then it sort of got caught out, and the old wood rotted out and everything. Then people started in the early. Well, my dad and some of his buddies, they just threw out limbs and all from trees and made their own. But now with these wire fish attractants and all, they really have some good traps. These fishing guides set up their own areas and all, not traps, but actual sites. Okay, we're going to take a final break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. We're glad to be here this morning, even though we're coming from Studio B. We're just glad to be here, and we're glad you're watching our show today, no matter if you're watching it right here the first time we show it or either later on in the evening. We're glad you're watching it. Let's take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. How about 12:51 to 2:51, and then from 1:11 this afternoon to 3:11. So, as a teacher and all, I love true stories, and I always tell my kids true stories, and then they would tell me true stories, and so I have people, want to say I always use the word true stories, we're not elaborating on it or fabricating on them, but we always talked about that's a true story. I talked to my buddy Sledge the other day, and Lawrence, he's one who puts our red snapper trip together with Billy Archer. We've known each other for so long. We love those trips and all, but he went fishing the other day, and he loves to go to Depot Creek. That's his bread and butter place. But he went fishing. His buddy took him down to the downtown marina, and they were going to go out in the bay, try to catch some of those Spanish. He told me that about got in trouble. I said, you about got in trouble because you're so experienced? And he was telling me, I'm going to give you an example. If you've been down that City Marina ramp, it actually closes. It's open, but what happens, it's a drop-off. When the concrete runs out, it just drops off. If you're not familiar with it, you're going to get trapped in it big time. So basically, this is a truck, okay, and this is a boat. So they were backing in there, and then it, boom, dropped off. So you got it in here. So the trailer, they let the boat out okay, but they can't pull the trailer. The trailer gets stuck because, so some locals, some other people say, you're going to have to go and go underneath and tie and everything. Sledge actually went underwater, okay, took a big breath, took a rope, went underwater. He said it was cold, and he was going to tie the rope around the trailer right there, and he ran out of air. He scrambled back up, get some more air, go back. I said, Sledge, son, you're too old to do that kind of stuff. So he finally got it, but it took a lot of time and effort. So I'm telling you this story. So if you're down there, be careful. It's not a good shape. Now, they're going to fix it eventually, but with all the stuff going on, it's going to be hard to get to. So when you launch your boat at these boat ramps, make sure you know the ramp or know someone who does know the ramp, and don't be like Sledge and go underwater to try. Don't go underwater if you can help it. You get some of these younger people, they try to get a gaff and all kinds of stuff. It's a funny story. It's funny now. It wasn't all that funny to them to start with. Okay? Now, I want to read some emails. Y'all been so good about emailing and staying in touch with me, or messaging or emailing, and I just want to catch up on them. And, here we go. This is Annette Dolphin. Thank you for the opportunity to win the red snapper on Friday. It was wonderful. I even made fish stock out of the head and bones. What a nice surprise. All of the people at Tarpon Docks were so nice. Now we'll go back to fish stock. This is fascinating to me. It's the first time I use that word today, because fish stock is what the old timers used. They used every ounce of the fish. And to see Annette do that now, and she sort of actually found out how she hadn't done it before. I talked to her later, and she actually put it together. Fish stock is a broth and all, and really great cooking stuff and everything. So that's using the whole thing. So thanks, Annette, for touching base with us. This comes from my buddy down at Blue Water, Terry Kujeski, okay? Remember I talked about the carpenter bees, how bad they've gotten. And here's what he says: I keep a badminton racket next to my back door. This is a good idea. When I see a carpenter bee buzzing around the back door, I grab the racket and step onto the deck. They actually challenge you and hover a few feet in front of you. They do. They sort of get right there. So you're not scared of me. I'm not scared of you. And okay, so just perfect. If you have a backhand, if you miss, you can come back with a forehand on a second chance. I enjoy my new sport and look forward to my badminton spring training. So good job, Terry. And thanks for sharing that from Blue Water Outriggers. He watches the show every day. Ted and Anna Ganay, it's today's show. Winston, I enjoyed your show today with Paul and Julie Winterman. Remember the outdoor wildlife, Paul and Julie on the outdoor and wildlife photography. I really enjoyed it. He is an outstanding photographer. There's a lot of work and patience that goes into capturing great photos. Thanks, Ted, and I appreciate that feedback. I'm going to forward this on to Ted, from Ted to Paul and Julie, but that was a good show there. And also, here's another one on the carpenter bees. Great piece on the carpenter bees. This comes from Mark Flick. I had a two-story with a walkout basement cedar home for nearly 20 years. Okay, those darn bigger carpenter bees would bury just like you described, and then this is what happened now, the red-bellied woodpecker would, we talked about this before last year, remember on the pole barns where you got the bee in here, then the woodpecker goes after them. He said they really got into his, and they knew they were in there. It's like a steak dinner. And then he went on to say, can you imagine what my cedar siding looked like after the woodpeckers got done boring 2 to 3 inches into the diameter holes into the siding? So they seriously can cause a lot of trouble. And that was at a house there, so you can imagine on a pole barn what it looks like and all. So anyway, some good emails and good messages they all sent me to stay in touch with what's going on. So anyway, we're about to wrap up our first show from Studio B. Jeff's worked hard to get all the lighting and everything, and we'll be in and out of here some and on the road some and all kind of exciting things. But we appreciate your viewership. Do something good today for fellow man. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.